Hello, everybody. So we're going to be looking at a worksheet on the 1.2 stuff we've been learning, mainly dealing with just angles. So just to jump into it, the first section here is asking us to name each angle in four ways. Okay, if you guys remember, there's a few ways we can name an angle, and if we're taking a look at number one, the first one I notice is if they ever just put like a number by itself in it, like a one, two, three, four, whatever, we can use that number to name the angle. So we can just simply call this thing angle one. Okay, another way we can name an angle, if it's the only angle that has that vertex, okay, there's I as the vertex for this angle, and it's the only one that has it, we can use that to name it. All right, so I can just call this thing angle I. All right. The last two ways of naming an angle are probably the most common ones we'll see, and that's making our way around the angle as we name it. Okay, starting at one side, going around the vertex to the other side. So we can call this angle HIJ. Angle HIJ. Okay, and we can also go from the other side length around the angle, angle JIH. All right, but remember when we name it with those three points, we have to start on the side and make our way to the other. We can't start in the center. Okay, so that's the idea with those. Stick with me as I go through this. If you need to pause the video as we do it, feel free. Okay, next section is just asking us to classify each angle as either acute, obtuse, right, or straight. Here's a just quick reminder. This is in your notes. Acute angles are less than 90, obtuse are greater than 90, right angles are equal to 90, and straight angles are equal to 180 degrees. All right, and on this first section, they're just giving us, a picture of the angle. So, for example, on number 5, I can see that this is a straight line, or in other words, it's a straight angle. All right, so there's my answer on this one. Okay, and that's all they're asking you for. Just remember, it kind of all revolves around whether it's less than or greater than 90. This right here, they don't explicitly tell us that this is a 90-degree angle, but they, on this particular worksheet, they want us to assume it is. Normally, just so you guys know, there'll be a little box in here. All right, so number 8 is a right angle. Even though I would argue that little box there was required for us to say that. All right. And if something is less that, if an angle looks smaller than that, then, it's going to be an acute. And if an angle looks bigger than a right angle, it's going to be obtuse. All right. So there's those ones. When you guys get to the next section, it's a lot more straightforward. They're literally giving you the measure of the angles. You can use those to tell me if they're acute, obtuse, or right. Okay. Cool. So I'm kind of skimming past those. I don't think they're terribly difficult. The next section is asking us to find the measure of a missing angle. All right. Take a look at number 14. All right. They're asking us to find this measure of this angle B. All right. This looks a little different than what we saw in our notes. All right. But the big thing to notice is that this angle that they are giving us and the angle that we are looking for, they make a straight line. All right. So again, I know that they are a straight, or they add up to a straight angle. That means they are adding to 180. All right. So if we wanted to, we can make a little equation. We could say, okay, the angle we're looking for plus this other angle we know equals 180 degrees. They make a straight line. All right. And then from here, just solving, taking 180, subtracting 153, looks like B is going to equal 27. Okay, let's be more specific degrees. We're talking about the measure of an angle. Alrighty, cool. Number 13, I'll let you guys decide what these two angles would add up to, but that little box should give you a hint. All right, moving on to the back side of this worksheet, and this is really like the point of this worksheet, at least for me, is finding missing angles and making equations out of information. All right, if you guys take a look at number 15, they're asking us to find the measure of angle EDN. Let's first figure out where that is. That starts at E, goes around D to N. This is angle EDN, and we're trying to find the measure of that angle. Okay, since they're not giving us any value for that, let's just call it X. Okay, that's our variable. That's what we're looking for. All right. The next thing they're telling us is that angle EDC is 176. Let's figure out which one that is. That starts at E, goes around D to C. They're telling us that this entire angle is 176. So that's basically the way I like to show it. If you want to put an arc over this whole angle and then just outside of it show, okay, this thing's 176. Okay, and then last thing, they're saying the measure of angle NDC is 130. Okay, NDC starts at N, goes around D to C. That's this angle right here. All right, so in that angle, let's go ahead and show that it's 130. All right, notice how I put all of this information onto my angles on these problems. It's necessary to do that. Make sure you're not just reading the directions and trying to do it in your head. Put it on the angles and it becomes a lot more straightforward because here's what we know. This small angle plus this small angle equals this whole angle. Okay, it's a lot like the segment addition postulate, we did a few weeks ago. So that's going to be my equation. This angle x plus this small angle 130 equals the entire angle 176. All right, and from there, pretty simple math. We can get rid of 130 by subtracting. And let's see, 176 minus 130 gives me 46. So I get x equals 46. Okay, and that's the actual measure of the angle. So let's put degrees. Okay, so that'll be the same idea on 16, 17, 18. Put that info on. Your equation might not always look exactly like this. Sometimes they're going to give you the two small angles and ask you for the whole angle. Okay, but putting that info on will make it obvious. Okay, basically the last one I want to do is getting into one of these problems that look just like those others. They're just giving us weirder values for our angles. All right, again, putting this info on is extremely important. Okay, so let's just start with this first thing. They want us to find the measure of angle LMK. Okay, so LMK is this angle right here. That's what they want us to find ultimately. All right, so here's the thing. I'm not just going to call that x because if you notice, they're giving us a value for LMK right here. They're saying it's 2x plus 99. Okay, so I mean, really, if we want to, we can just start with that. Okay, so LMK, this angle, 2x plus 99. Do your best to, fit it in there. Okay, let me go back into this part. Okay, the measure of angle KMN is 65. Let's figure out where that is. KMN starts at K, goes around M to N. That's this other small angle. All right, so they're telling us that is 65. Okay, by the way, I'm not putting the degree symbols when I plug these weirder values in. It doesn't really matter. Okay, and last thing, angle LMN is x plus 164. Take a notice, LMN is this entire angle. All right, so I'm going to show it just like that. I'm going to put an arc over the whole angle, and outside of it, I'm going to show, okay, this is x plus 164. All right, now that I have that info on my angles, making an equation is a lot more straightforward. I know that this small angle plus this small angle equals the entire big angle. All right, just like the last problem, just, the values are weirder. Okay, so I'm going to start with 65. So 65 plus the other small angle, 2x plus 99. Those added together give me the entire big angle, x plus 164. Okay, from here, it's just some algebra. If you're still rusty on this, please keep giving it a try. Keep calling me over and I can help you out. Once you get it, it's not too shabby. Okay, remember the first thing we do when we solve is we look at both sides of the equal sign and we try to simplify whatever we can. Okay, meaning combine like terms is usually the thing. Sometimes it's distribution if we see it. Okay, but yeah, on this one, 65 and 99, I can combine those together to get a 164. All right, so I'm going to bring the 2x down first, and then I have a positive 164 when I combine those. Over on the right, there's no simplifying that I can do, so I'm just bringing them down. Okay, from here, the next thing, we have variables on both sides. I need to bring them to the same side. Just a reminder, I could get rid of this x by subtracting it from both sides, or I could get rid of this 2x by subtracting it from both sides, and I would get the same answer either way. I'm going to choose to get rid of x. All right, so 2x minus x is x. I'm just going to bring down the 164. I'm not touching it just yet. Over on the right, those are gone, and I have 164. Okay, so you guys can kind of see something interesting or a little interesting is happening on this. My last step when I go to solve for x, getting rid of 164, I'm going to subtract 164. Okay, so those are gone. I got x on the left. On the right, 164 minus 164, we get 0. Okay, be careful with just thinking, oh, I'm going to cross these out too. There, technically you could, but there needs to be something left over, and it's a 0. Okay, so we're getting x equals 0 on this one. Right, and if that's all they were asking for, if the directions just said find x, we'd be done with our problem. This wants us to go one more step and plug it back in and find the measure of LMK. Okay, so just a reminder, LMK is this value right here, the 2x plus 99. All right, so that's the last thing I want to do. I want to plug it back into that. Luckily, plugging a 0 in is really, simple math. All right, so if you want to draw a line or something, I'm going to do 2x plus 99. Okay, and I'm plugging 0 back in. 2 times 0 plus 99. I mean, this is almost unnecessary for me to write this out. This is just turning into a 0 plus 99. So there's my answer, 99 degrees. Okay, and really, I should probably say angle LMK equals this. Like, I got a little lazy on this, so let's point out angle LMK equals 99 degrees. Okay, cool. So that's the idea. Again, if you aren't putting the info onto your angles, you're making these problems a lot harder than they need to be. So that's your very first step. Put that info on and then use it to make your equations. Okay, cool. So yeah, try these out. And if you're having trouble, talk to me. All right.